session will be available after this session ends, probably 1.5 hour after this session ends. It will be available in the same resources folders that you already have. I'll circulate an email telling you the video is uploaded, and you guys can refer it. If still you have any questions, do let me know. So I would like to hand over the session to Shakir so that he could start.
Hello everyone, I am Shakir Arfin from EY Ford Roads. I'll be conducting this session today about the training of you guys who are top 100 strategic partners of K Electric. Asad has briefly defined the guidelines of this training. I'll be just sharing my screen so that we can begin. Asad, please do let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen, yes.
All right. So let's start with the process of registering you guys. As Asad has told you guys that we will be going live for this project on around first or second week of July. So you guys will have to register first yourself on this e-procurement solution, which is SAP ARIBA. There are three steps regarding the whole complete registration. First is supply request, second is registration, and third is the qualification, as you can see on my screen. Regarding supply request, the K Electric, as you guys already are registered and working with K Electric, so K Electric will be doing this step for you guys. The supply request will be created for you, and what you will receive will be an email which will ask you to register yourself for K Electric. Let me show you the screen. It will be a form, registration form, which you guys have to fill with all your detailed information. I'll just show you guys the form, how it does look like. This is so the email you guys will be receiving. It will have a link with which will be saying to click here to register yourself. So when you guys will click that link, you will be landing on this page. So it is a registration form. As you can see, there are some guidelines over here, and there are some questions you will be answering. You'll have some references like K Electric Code of Conduct will be there for you as reference. You guys have to download it. You can see there is a reference document here. If you can see this, it is HSC policy from K Electric. So you guys have to download it, read it out, and agree here for that particular document. Some documents will be required from you. As you can see, please attach a signed and stamped copy of supplier code of conduct. So here's the supplier code of conduct attached for you guys. You will be downloading it and uploading a signed and stamped copy of that document as an attachment. So when you will complete this form briefly, then you can submit it. And if you guys have any problem or any query regarding this registration questionnaire, you can see a button here which says compose message. We will be discussing about this compose message button option later on in this session. So this button can be used to coordinate actually with your account manager in K Electric. Okay, we have seen the process till this supply registration. Supplier qualification is something that K Electric will be qualifying you for some commodities and some materials or services that you provide. Again, K Electric will need some documents from you or some technical details, technical specifications, and then if when you can provide them, then K Electric will be qualifying you regarding those specific commodities or materials or services. Once K Electric qualify you for some service or material, you will receive an email again, which will look somewhat like this. It says K Electric has qualified you for these materials for now, heavy construction machinery and equipment, or any other materials or services which K Electric will be qualifying you for. You will receive an email with those commodities. There will be a short brief questionnaire with just one question in it. You can see the link here, click here to fill out the questionnaire. So the first questionnaire we saw in previously was a supplier registration questionnaire that was a somewhat lengthy and and detailed questionnaire. This questionnaire will only have one question, which will be an acknowledgement that do you agree here. When you click on this link, you will be landing on this page. So it says, do you agree to be qualified on this commodity? You just have to say yes and submit response. So you will be qualified for those specific commodities or services that you provide. Okay, so this was the whole supplier registration and qualification process, which you guys have to do once. This is a one-time process of registration and qualification. Uh, Yet, if your company decides to work with any other material or any other services that you may want to offer K Electric, that okay, we have started working on these commodities as well, or we supply these commodities, or we work on those services as well. So you can request K Electric to raise a qualification for you, and again you will be required to submit some technical details, some certifications, depending on the scenario, which K Electric decides what is needed from you to qualify you on those specific commodities or services. Okay, now we will be seeing a demonstration on how to respond on an event. Just give me a minute. Okay, Asad, tell me when you can see my screen.
Uh, I am seeing it now.
Okay. So once you guys will the K Electric will raise the supply request for you guys, and you get to register yourselves. SAP Ariba will have you have a login ID and password, which will actually you guys will have a account created for you on SAP Ariba, which will look like something like this. This is the dashboard of your profile of your account that you will have after creating a login ID and password. So here you can see, so the RFP, request for proposal, which is also known as request for quotations, and auctions. These are there are three types actually now: request for information, request for proposal, and auctions. These three are called as events, as you can see here in Ariba. And the questionnaires, registration questionnaire, you we talked just previously in this session. They are here: registration questionnaire and qualification questionnaire. So these are the things which K Electric has invited you for. There are some events in starting. You won't have like initially you won't be having so many of documents here, but as you guys will keep working with K Electric, you'll see more and more invitations on RFPs and auctions here. And there you can see a registration questionnaire, which says that its status is open. It's a supply registration questionnaire, document ID, its ending time, and its status says it's registered, that you already have registered. There is no qualification questionnaire yet. There are none other questionnaires. So everything regarding your profile can be seen here. Anything pending, anything open at your end, anything the RFPs or auctions that are completed, everything can be seen here and tracked from here. Okay, so in open status of events, we can see we have a supplier training RFP 01. This is an RFP we want to respond on. So first of all, it says document number, the name of this event, and this timeline. So time remaining to respond on this event is very important, as once this time has been completed, this time has been ended, you cannot respond on this event anymore. So there are three options it offers here: to review prerequisites, decline to respond if you don't want to respond, or print event information you see here. So we will review the prerequisites first. There will be some prerequisites that K Electric will need from you to agree on. So there is an acknowledgement status, and it says I accept the terms of this agreement. I check on this, and I click on OK. Meanwhile, I would like to let you know, guys, if you have any questions regarding this session which is going on, you any question pop-ups in your mind, you can write it in the chat. Asad will I'll let Asad some minutes, some 5 or 10 minutes to answer those questions, or I'll be also be available here to answer those questions. Just write those in the chat box, or write Asad a one-on-one email. Okay, so now we are going to respond on the event actually. On the left pane you can see event contents. All the contents are here, what this event contains. You can download those contents. We have already reviewed the prerequisites, and if we want to print information, now we have to select the lots. What are the lots in Ariba? Those are the line items, as you had received from K Electric in the form of RFQs. It has some line items which you have to respond on. Let's select those lots. So here we have two line items. The one is air conditioner and the second is laptop. Okay, the air conditioner has a brief, a short requirements here, that what will be the specifications of this. So these keep in mind, these commodities are made for simplification only. You guys work with the materials which are more complex, which has more specifications, which need to be drawn here. So this is just for an example, that if K Electric will need some air conditioner, it will have a small brief specification requirement here, or it will also have some. It could have some reference documents, as we saw in the supplier registration form. So if, for example, it's a turbine, or it's a turbine, so K Electric may attach a reference document here, that these are the specifications we need from you to respond on, or to keep in mind that this type of material, or the material should have those specifications specifically. So as a supplier, I want to bid on or respond on both the line items, so I will check both. You can respond on partial slots, like I just want to respond on air conditioner, and I don't want to bid on the laptops. It's my choice. So for now, I'll be responding on both the lots or line items, you can say. I'll confirm selected lots. Okay, so it will take me to this page where some introduction of this event is mentioned, some event information. There's again a supplier questionnaire, small supplier questionnaire here. This will be depending on the scenarios or the K Electric decisions, that which will differ every time, depending on the commodities or the type of the event, that what questions or what requirements, attachments K Electric need from require from you. Here it asks, by selling this product to K Electric, is there any issue pertaining to channel territory violation? I will say no. OEM representative or the principal general items and conditions. If you are an OEM representative, attach your general terms and conditions. So it asks me to attach a file. I'll just attach a random file here, just so you guys know how to attach a file. It's very simple. Choose a file from my desktop. Let's say this is there's something K Electric required from me, and you'll see it attached here. Okay, you can update this file, you can delete this file and reload this. Okay, in code terms, I'll say CO. So right here, there are two sections you can see. One is technical evaluation, and the second is pricing section, or you can say commercial evaluation. Most probably, and most of the time, you won't see the pricing section before you respond on the technical evaluation, right? So what it means is that K Electric will need you to respond on the technical evaluation first. That here you can see, please attach the technical specification file of air conditioner. So it for now, we K Electric only needs you to submit a technical specification file for both the line items you have selected to respond on. Once you have responded on this technical evaluation section, you can see this content is divided into sections. First is the introduction section. I'll minimize it. Then you can see event information section, and the third you can see supplier questionnaire section. So I'll minimize that too. So this is somewhat simplified look of this content. So what will be generally in practice will be that you won't get to see the pricing section of this event before you respond on this technical evaluation. Here we have some reference documents. It's a specification file which K Electric has given me to as a reference, that these specifications are needed from the supplier to quote on. I will just simply click here and it will download this file on my computer. So here it is. Okay, now I have to submit my technical specification file here. It has asked me, please attach technical specification file for air conditioner. I'll be uploading that. Let's say this is my specification file for air conditioner. I've attached this, and the specification file for laptop, I'll attach that too. Right. So once I will be uploading or attaching my or completing my technical evaluation section, now it will allow me to work on this or to respond on this pricing section or commercial evaluation, where we'll be responding regarding the pricing. Right. So these two were the commodities. Air conditioner, here you can see quantity required by K Electric and the extended price. So here you can see a price which is 45,000, and if I hover my cursor on it, it says it's from 0.00 pkr to ceiling, which means this is the ceiling price. Now what is a ceiling price? A ceiling price is a price that K Electric has specified, that they won't be considering any responses over this price. Now this will be decided by K Electric, that what would be the ceiling price of some specific commodities, but you won't be able to bid over this price. That it will be of course this will be a realistic price. It won't be not very less than the actual price, but this is somewhat K Electric will be deciding. So what I need to do is I will check the specifications, the requirements, and if I can respond, I have to respond below this price only. I can't respond like 46,000 or 45,500 on this line item, right? So I have checked those specifications and requirements which are attached here, and I, as a supplier, I feel like I can provide this line item on let's say 43,000. Okay, lead time will be 30 days in days. OEM representative for this line item, I said yes, I am the OEM. Warranty, let's say 12 months. OEM representative, certificate. I've said that I am the OEM representative, so I have to I'll be attaching a certificate. Right here, I will be clicking on update totals, and it will tell me the extended price with reference to the price I have decided to quote. Okay, so 43,000 for one air conditioner, and for two it will be 46,000. Right, same will go for laptops. It also has a ceiling price. There are some requirements: 8 GB RAM, hard disk this, and processor this. For more requirement details, if I need it, here I can refer to this document which K Electric has provided to me as references. Or if I have more queries regarding this, I can always go to this compose message. So let's explore what this compose message does. Here I am responding as Amar Traders. To this message will be sent to the project team. This will be most probably your account manager or a team which handles your account. This is the name of the project I am composing this message for, and let's say I want to know when you right. I just wrote my query here. If I want, I can attach some attachment here, and simply it sends like this. Okay. K Electric will the account manager or the project team will receive an email that you have sent a message for regarding this particular event, and also they could see it in the message box as you can send it from here. Right, they will once K Electric replies on your message, you will receive an email. Let me see if I can show you an email. No, unfortunately, there's isn't any. So it will be only a email which says what the message is. So you will be receiving an email that about your reply on your message, and it will also have that link which says click here to read the message, and it will land you to the message box page. Right, and now for laptops, I have the ceiling price of 1,100,000, and quantity is again 2, and the extended price with reference to this 100,000 ceiling price, it says 200,000. So referring to this specifications, and the specifications I have received from this reference document. As a supplier, I said like I can provide this laptop in, you can say, 96,000, right? Not in 100,000. I can provide in 96,000 only. Lead time will again be 30 days. Or for laptops, I say no, I am not the OEM, but I can supply that. Warranty 24 months. And since I am not a OEM representative, I don't need to attach a OEM representative certificate. I will update the totals, and it will update the extended price. Right, it calculates the extended price with regards to the line items as well as whole. You can see 192,000 and 86,000 makes 278,000 in total. So I reviewed these prices, and I will go to submit the entire response. Okay, it says your response has been submitted. Thank you for participating in the event. Right now, here you can see a button, option that says revise your response. So if you feel like you have 4 days left for this event, and after 2 days you get a lead that you can provide these materials in even lower price, you can always revise your response. But this option is again the decision from KE, that if they want the suppliers to revise their response or not. It will vary from event to event, that if Electric want you to revise your response or not. Okay, so this is how a supplier will be responding to this event or any event. So for now, we saw the responding on an event for RFP, which is a request for proposal. Same goes for request for information. If you ask K Electric that, okay, I my company also started to provide those materials, this and this material as well, or any other services which are new to work on with K Electric. So you will request KE, your account manager, via phone call or email. Then K Electric will raise an RFI, request for information, in which you will be required to give some um, some certificates, some licenses, or anything that K Electric would like you to submit before you qualify for those commodities and services. So RFI will also look something like this. These questions you see here, which are the content of this event, those will differ from event to event, from RFI or RFP. So in RFI, you will get to attach more files, and there will not be any pricing terms or conditions. Like, you won't be submitting the prices of those services or materials. You will be only trying to qualify for those services or materials. So once you respond for an RFI, if K Electrics feels good, and it says that, okay, I want to qualify you or your company for those specific materials or services you requested for, so they will be qualifying you, and again you will be receiving an email like this, that K Electric has qualified you for those services or commodities, and you have to fill this one questionnaire. Right, so here the RFP is completed. We have seen the how to respond for an RFI and RFP. Both goes the same way. Now I'll request you guys to raise any questions if you have any. We will have 5 minutes pause for the question answer session. Then we will resume the session.
So thanks, Shakir. Let me check the question that I have. There's only one question that I've received so far. That's from Kashif. If you are sending me an email regarding question and cannot access the chat, please do so, as I'm open now to taking your questions. So right now I'll just answer the question for Kashif Khan. So Kashif has said, can you please let me know what is the benefit for us for using this? Okay. So from K Electric side, the it's more sort of a getting savings over what we buy. Please don't consider whatever I'm going to tell you, what how the I'm going to answer you. Do not consider it as a one-time purchase or single source items. I'm talking about where you have participated in general items. People like GE, people like ABB, people like Siemens, and the big OEMs, the big companies. Whenever we do buying, whenever we buy from them, they're basically single source items, and we cannot source them from anywhere until unless we have sourced out a stockist or something, and we can get a better price. Or sometimes we don't. So from a vendor's perspective, when you from a K Electric's perspective, we do hope to achieve a lot of savings from our normal purchases. From General Electric side or from the vendor side, the advantages are basically transparency, manage information flow. Like we have received a lot of questions from feedback rather from our vendors that they literally they keep on asking about their status of their submitted quotes. So please advise the status of my quote submitted on such and such time. So all these statuses you will be able to view on your own dashboard. You will have your statuses of your live cases, the statuses of your the cases which have been closed. Information would be managed quite well. You can directly they sometimes it so happens that due to huge email inflow, we tend to overlook or we tend to miss out on critical emails, so the case get delayed. So it's so all in all, the turnaround time of K Electric will improve. The supplier will have a managed information flow, and they would have a platform to interact on with the whole team rather than being running around with different people, uh, chasing different people for different questions. Okay, I hope to answer your question. If you further want clarity, we can always, Kashif, have an offline discussion. So just moving on to the other one, Hassan Siddiqui has sent us a question regarding supplier registration and qualification process. So what he says is basically, we understand as registered suppliers, we do not have to go this process for our existing scope of supply, but for any new products, we will have to do it. Please confirm our understanding. Please share our current profile and available in your system. Okay. The thing is, the like Shakir has advised, or rather, they told you that we are going to register a supplier for a particular commodity. I can hear myself back. It's quite disturbing. Shakir, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you. Okay. So, um, K Electric has K Electric will register supplier. We have already, just to give you an example, we have a supplier base of 5,000 vendors, out of which 3,000 are active vendors, which means that we have done business with them for the past 1 year. So this is how diversified K Electric vendor base is. So more or less, yes, you will be qualified for the commodity that you're providing in that you're providing. It's the commodity that you will qualify it for. It's not something like specialized um, commodities. Like for example, if I qualify you for air conditioner 4 ton, that's not going to last like that. That's not going to happen like that. What's is going to happen? I'll just be open with you. We are categorizing on based on UNSPSC codes. So that's a international standard, and it has levels in it. There are 4 levels depending upon how close to your requirement you want to get to. So the last level of probably an air conditioner would be HVAC systems. So anything and everything that comes in HVAC systems will be routed to you as well. So it's not like that that if you're providing me a certain transmitter, say model 9110, so you'll I'll qualify you for supplying only 9110. I'll rather qualify you for supplying electrical and instrumentation equipment so that I know that you can provide that also. So it's so if now coming on the other end, now the coming end of the so now coming to the other end of the spectrum, Hassan already said that for any new products we will have to do it. Yes, you have to do it, but the question remains. It's Key Electric who decides whether we want to have new vendors for this particular commodity. Like for example, we have an excellent supplier base for supplying of air conditioners, or we have an excellent base of supplying who render a services for what do you call that motor rewinding services, or we don't want to induct any services which are critical or which are uh, critical for plant operations. So we would rather rely on OEM. So in that way, we cannot entertain your request. But for any other, it's K Electric's prerogative to either call you in or request you, or based on your profile, we can share this. Okay. So the second part of his question was request for proposal. Um, can we attach more than one files under technical evaluation section regarding price? Is okay. So that's number one. Um, Okay, now how this I know that this question would have come from any of the participants. We have been receiving this a lot in the past few sessions. Uh, the demo which you are seeing right now is tailored so that it should be an easy example to comprehend. By no means I am saying that whatever you are seeing here is going to be replicated on the main system. I mean, the question that you saw that attach your principles guide your principal general terms and conditions, enter lead time, enter your payment, or is there any channel or territory violation. Some of these questions might be there because these are general day-to-day questions that we normally ask, but um, the content of the questions will actually change depending upon on a certain case. For example, the service for services, we might ask you a question that do you have any prior experience with respect to this particular job, and then we may require you to attach your references. We may we may ask you to attach something some document for that sort, or we can always share with you our health and HSE policy, and we might ask you to accept it since you will be working for us on our site. So we would rather require you to understand the policy what we require from our vendors. So we might ask you to do that as well, but that's on case to case basis. That's on what the technical team or K Electric decision what to include, what not to include. So coming back to your question, can we attach more than one files under technical evaluation section? There will be a question, however, that please attach your technical proposal, and in which you can attach more than one files um, based on your let's say if you're giving us options, like options, sometimes many suppliers do give us options based on the information available to them. So they give us option one, this is option two, this is option three, option one is price this, option two is price this, option three is prices. So we can always there you can attach a technical proposal in the technical section, commercial proposal in the commercial section. Yes, you can do that. More than one file in technical evaluation section. If you're looking for a particular question where I've asked for an attachment, I might have to check on that, but but I don't think so that it will allow you to add more than one attachment. So whatever attachment that you do, you need to club them into one. There is no size limit. You can attach whatever you want. um, the second question was regarding price. There is just one box to enter the price. Where to enter GST? Okay. So if you're right now, we do not. ask our suppliers to enter prices into in dollars or in Pakistani rupees. They can add whatever currency they want. We, on the other hand, calculate the landed cost based on the exchange rate. We convert it into PKR. So this GST, all prices will be without GST. GST will be added by us on top of this. So you do not need to add GST. GST will always be added in the end. Uh, okay, so um, okay. Uh, Marvin has a question that we are already registered with KE. Do we need to get ourselves registered again? So just to clear the air, in K Electric, you submit as per current scenario, you submit your profile or you submit your quotation, and based on that, we actually register you in the system. We actually create your profile in SAP system. Things are now going to happen a little bit differently. The thing is, this registration process in ARIBA is basically you can say divided into three parts. So the first part is supply request, which KE raises for it, and it's get approved that we need to register a certain supplier with such and such credentials. Then the supply registration. To make the answer short, yes, you will have to register because we have made a registration questionnaire. Based on that, you need to register again, Marvin. We will upload you into the system, but you need to get yourself registered in order to uh, get a purchase order from SAP from K Electric, because it's any vendor who, since all procurement will be done on Ariba, so any vendor who is not registered cannot be awarded basically anything. Don't worry, we will help you getting registered, so it's no big deal. So Jawad had a question. Sometime what happens, being general order supplier, we got to submit more than one quotation for the same query. What did he say? Um, we will mention all option in one PDF file. The same way we can also one. Okay, so I've just answered your question. Okay, so can you please advise anything on this? Based on different options. Okay, the same thing. Plus, how K is going to manage general order suppliers, since we can almost quote for everything. So please advise how would we be specifying by K. Okay, the same scenario works if we require something which is OEM specific, like for example Marubeni or GE, and we say that only Marubeni can give it. So obviously we won't be sending it to other suppliers because we know they won't be able to quote, or if they do quote, then they would certainly be technically rejected, so we won't be requesting them to participate. But for everything else where OEM requirement or specificity of getting the OEM, or we are open to equivalent brands, yes, we can add no matter how many general order suppliers we can. So I think that's the let me check one more time my email. Okay. Okay, so that's about it. The questions that I've received so far. Let's start off with the session again. If you have any still question and you have the option to write in chat or send me an email, do send it to me. I'll reply to you right there and then. As Shakir will be delivering the training. So Shakir, are you there? Can you take it off from here now?
Okay, so just give me 1 minute.
Sure thing.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Right, participants. Now, what we will be doing next is we will be seeing how, as a supplier, we can respond on auctions, which is our last topic of this training session. So this is my dashboard of our supplier. Here I can see in the open status I had an RFP I just have responded on. I have an auction as well. So I have to respond on this auction. Again, when we start to respond on an auction, it will need us to review some details, some terms and conditions to accept and select the lots. Once we do that, it will land me to this particular page, which is the auction panel. Here I just have one lot, one line item to respond on, which is the air conditioner. Just to keep the options simple, there is only one line item to respond, which is air conditioner. Here we can see a little bit of details of the requirements of this line item, and if there is any complex requirements or something, we will have reference documents as well here. Okay, so let's start from the top. We have the document number and the name of this event. We have this timeline going on. Again, once this time is ended, you can never respond on this auction again. So K Electric itself cannot allow you to respond on this event once this timeline has been ended. So now we have some values here. It's the ceiling value again. The same concept that you cannot bid over this ceiling value. There is a reserve value. What's a reserve value? A reserve value is something that, for example, KE has been procuring air conditioners from a specific supplier since last 2 years, and everything is set between K Electric and that supplier. There is no issue with K Electric about that supplier. So this is a value where K Electric says, okay, if I get this much of the value for this specific commodity, I will I will consider to change my supplier. So reserve value is this is value. Then the bid decrement value, it is just for an example, it has kept on 500. It will differ from commodity to commodity or event to event. So bid decrement is the amount that I have to lower my bid from my last bid. Like if we will see this in the examples as well. If I have quoted for if the ceiling value is 45,000, for once initially I responded and I quoted the value, okay, I can provide it in 44,500. So the next time I want to bid, so I cannot bid on like 44,200 or 44,400 because of this bid decrement buffer. Every time I bid, I need to decrease my bid by this value, my own bid, right? Leading bid will show the leading bid of this auction. um, K Electric will decide if they want you to see the leading bid, but most of the time you could have this value shown here. So this is here you can see there are no bids yet. This is the first bid we are going to submit. So this considering the ceiling value, I'll just go for let's say 44,500. The quantity is 10, so I'll click on this update totals, and it will tell me the extended price. This is just for the for one line item for now, just to keep it simple. But obviously, when in actual scenarios, you will be having more and more commodities here. So here I can see I can save this as a draft and respond later, as I have 7 days remaining for this event to respond on. And I can also come coordinate with my account manager with this compose message, right? Okay, so I have decided a bid to submit, and I will just click here, submit current lot, submit this bit. Okay, this response. So here I can see my bid on this is the graph where you can see there's a line on the ceiling which tells me the ceiling price, and this is the reserve price bar. So in between somewhere here my bid lies, which is 44,500. I sent it on submitted on 4:23 p.m. So here you can see a hammer which says my bid is the best value, and in the leading bid up here you can see that our bid has the leading bid value, right? Your response has been submitted, and we can see it somewhere here. Now let's see to respond on this same auction from another supplier. I have opened another supplier profile here, and here see my bid rank. My rank is number 1 because I have taken the lead bid, and here the leading bid is already shown here. That what's the leading bid? I can see the bid here in the bid graph in this panel, but I cannot see the name of the participant or the supplier which has submitted that. Here I have two options. One is that I submit a bid deciding on my own that okay, the lead bid is 44,500. I'll go for 44,200, let's say. Okay, here let's see another test case. I'll let me go for 44,450. Right, the lead bid is 44,500. I'm just decreasing my bid by 50 rupees. So I'll update totals. It will tell me this, my extended price. Submit current lot. It will give me an error that you have to lower your bid by 44,000. So this is something K Electric has specified, that okay, the let the suppliers bid at least 100 or 200 rupees lower than the last bid. So it doesn't go like the if first supplier has submitted for 44,500, the second supplier comes and say okay, just to take the lead bid I'll go for 44,499. So this
Shakir,
is
I have
some.
a question to this.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm stopping in between. This is not how we
No
planned, but
problem.
right now that we are showing that the currency is Pakistani rupees, but imagine the vendor is a foreign vendor and he had submitted a quote in his own currency, like say USD. So will
Yes.
he need to enter in PKR, or would he be entering in USD, and the all the amount of bid decrement and leading bid will be showing him in USD?
In this
In
method. Okay. So whatever the currency supplier needs to quote on, they can quote on their specific currencies. Here we can see everything in PKR because I have selected. Once the suppliers, foreign suppliers, will be invited to an event, first here before selecting lots, I will be asked for to select a currency I want to respond on. And for example, I selected US dollars or Arab Emirates dirhams. Then everything I'll be seeing here will be in that specific commodity. So for KE, it will be shown in PKR after the conversion and all that. But for the supplier, they don't need to worry that about the currency. They can select their own currency and bid on that. Is it clear, Asad?
Yes, pretty much so. You can proceed.
Okay. All right. So here I am just going for the second bid. I'll say okay, the leading bid is 44,500. Um, okay, but since every supplier has selected their own currencies, the leading bid will be converted and will be shown to the supplier in his own currency. Like if I choose to bid on USD, I won't see here 44,500 PKR. I'll see the converted rate in USD since I'm responding in US dollars, right? So for the next bid, I'll say, okay, I can go for 44,100 and I'll update the totals. It tells me the extended price and I say, okay, submit this response. Okay, so here I can see that I have the hammer on my bid. Ammar and Ali, this is me in the bidding console. Here, this was the last bid which I was seeing 44,500, and here lies my bid which is 44,100. Now my bid rank is number 1. My leading bid shows my value which was 44,400, so it means it shows a hammer here. It's also which says the okay, you have you have the leading bid. Now for the previous supplier which quoted 44,500, it says the bid rank becomes number 2 and the leading bid is not what this supplier has submitted. Right now I have two options. Once that I decide by myself, like I did for this supplier, to decrease my bid and just submit, or here I can just click on take lead option and it will tell me that what specific value I have to put, and I have to decrease and I'll be in the leading bid. So here you can see it only says 100 rupees decrement, and you can take the lead, which means K Electric has specified that no supplier can lower their bid less than 100. Means every supplier has to lower their bid from the previous bid of any supplier by 100 rupees. Okay, so I this makes me know that what's the minimum value I have to lower my bid and I'll take the lead. It says 44,000 and extended price is this. Okay, submit the lot and I'll see my bid taking the hammer. Just a minute. Okay, here I got the hammer and leading bid is my value. And in the graph I can see that this was the leading bid from the second supplier, and here lies my bid 44,000. Right here I can see bid history of my bids, what I have submitted so far. I quoted 44,500 at this time, 44,000 at this time, and all the following bits will be shown here as well in this console. Right, for the second supplier, I go for, okay, the leading bid is now 44,000 and my rank has become second. I will go for 43,500 and I'll update the totals and submit the current lot. Here you can see I have got the hammer, which means I have took the lead bid. My ranks become first. The leading bid value has my quoted price, and here I can see I'm going. So this is how it's working. That as the suppliers are decreasing their bids, they are going towards the reserve value, which is this somewhere here in the purple or pinkish color value, right? So as I am decreasing my bids, I am going towards the reserve price, which is the value where K Electric will consider me to change their supplier. So the more I go towards the reserve price or lower than the reserve price, the more I have chances that I will be winning the this auction, because this is what the value what K Electric has decided to change their recent supplier. Right. Okay. So this is just for your clarification. We are bidding just every after every 2 minutes. Here the if the time is for 7 days, I can um, go on and submit my responses for 7 days only. But once the time limit has been ended, as I've mentioned before, you can never submit your response or bid on this event after that. So K Electric will also won't be allowed to allow you to submit your response after this timeline has been ended. Right, you have composed messages here. The email trails you guys will be having since now with K Electric, that every query you have, you will be asked on emails and will be answered on by emails. Now this all will be done by this compose message button. You will be receiving these messages and you will be sending these messages from here only. Okay, so here we conclude our session of this training. We will just go through what we have done and we have what we have completed in this training session. uh, just give me a minute. Yes. So first we talked about the process of registration, where it lies in 3 steps. So the first is supply request, second is supply registration, and the third is supplier qualification. Supply request, this you don't have to worry about. K Electric will be doing this for you. What you will be receiving an email for will be this supply registration. I have shown you the supply registration form, which you need to complete and submit with your updated details, right? And the third part of the registration okay, let me mention here that on this step, when you have submitted your supplier registration form, you will be ready to work with K Electric. There is another step of qualification. This is optional step. It won't let you it won't stop you from responding to the events or taking part in the RFIs and RFPs and and the auctions raised or invited you from K Electric. right? So from this, after this step of registration, supply registration, you will be ready to work with K Electric, and you will be receiving the invitations on the events which K Electric will invite you for. Okay, then there is a concept of qualification. Qualification is done over some commodities which you wish to supply, or the services which you wish to offer, right? Then we saw that how to respond on, we talked about the dashboard, how we will be seeing our events and our questionnaires. This is something you have to monitor all the time, because every uh, event or every auction which you are invited for from K Electric will be shown here. So you can check your events statuses that you have already responded on. That okay, I responded on this auction. What is the status of this? It will say it will be in pending selection, or it will be in completed status. So you can check the status from here. You can also see here it says have you participated or not. If you have participated, it will say yes. And here we have an auction which this participant or the supplier has not been participated, right? We talked about this dashboard. Then we responded on an RFP, which is same for RFI as well, request for information and request for proposal. We covered that, and we saw how to respond on an RFP or RFI. Then in the last, we talked about and we responded on a real-time auction, how it goes and how it works. We thoroughly saw how to respond and how the auctions will be going on in future. So this is all from me today, and I hope you learn from this session. And if you have any queries, now we will having a 10 to 15 minutes question answer session, so that you guys can ask in the chat box itself. And if you are not able um, to write in the chat box, you can write an email to Asad directly. So Asad, let's have the question answers now. I'll be here for your help if you need me. Mm, we are expecting you to write the question answers in the chat box. Questions,
So,
sorry.
so I have a question, Shakir. This question is directed to you. Um, so, so right now, before directing my question towards Shakir, I would like to explain something. When we were exploring this software, ARIBA, so we did went on to benchmark and see the best practices in organization where this software was implemented, both here in Pakistan and as well as in the Middle East. So we had a discussion with Al Fanar Group. We had a discussion with Etihad Airways. We had in Pakistan. We had a discussion with um, Engro, um, Total, as well as um, UEP. So what they do is basically, so the auction that you were seeing here is the time limit was for 7 days. So the auction, the first of all, 7 days is way too much for an auction. It doesn't make any sense. So auction, whenever auction will happen, it will happen only for probably 15 to 20 minutes. Now here comes the tricky part. So whenever we went to on, on these whenever we had a meeting with these industries, so all they told us was that suppliers will have a lot of difficulty in participating in auctions, because auction is a very critical activity, as well as it's the stakes are high and each vendor wants to get the order. So what you need to do is basically you need to plan the auction in advance, and email and call all your vendors who you have invited for auction. um, Tell them personally that the auction will be happening on such and such date at such and such time for this much duration. So you need, so the vendor should be, should make all the arrangements for the participation, because power supply outage, internet problems might pose challenges for you, and once the auction is done, we cannot, do it back again. It's against the rules. Secondly, it would be, we have been advised that to conduct a draft, a mock-up auction session with suppliers, with the same suppliers who I have already invited to participate, of course, on a entirely trial project, so that vendors could understand how the auction works, how will it go about, so that they could plan their sessions and plan their bids accordingly. There was one question, now that Shakir, there was one question that I would really like to ask you is, uh, there was a question from Jawad. Basically, he says that prices shown, if the price, you mean, I mean that the leading bid is shown to the vendors, then in auction, don't you think that everyone is going to quote just 10 seconds before the due time? So how does system cater do this? I guess the system increases this time or something like that.
Okay, so it's the choice of the participant that if they want to just quote it before 10 minutes before the closing of the event. Is that the question, right, Asad?
The question is, let's say the session, the auction session is for 20 minutes, right?
Right.
And I'm seeing the lead bid, and you and I are the participants. So yours is the lead bid, and I'm also need to submit my bid. So I let all the 10 minutes pass, and right before 9 minutes 50 seconds, I just press the take lead button. So how don't you think that this is the question that, don't you think
Yeah.
that this would create some kind of a problem? How the
Okay,
system
so
cater this?
this is an option you can do, but you have to keep in mind, there's nothing, there's no exception, or the system won't stop you from doing that, because it's totally fine with that. But you have to keep in mind that if you are thinking like that, then the other participants would also be doing such strategies. So yes, this is something you can do. There is no problem about that.
So let's say, so my question is one step ahead. So if any such situation arises, so a supplier enters his bid 10 seconds before. So does the system, I mean, backend settings can allow uh, the bidding to go ahead, or or the timer to be extended or not?
No, no, no. The timer won't be extended. You can submit 10 seconds or even 2 seconds before that. But of course, it works on first come first serve basis. Like, if on 5 seconds before, 3 suppliers have submitted the lead bid, so the first one will have the impact of the last bit. The second on the queue will have the impact on the last bit of the first supplier we just took the lead. So it won't make any trouble about that.
Okay. So there's I would like to inform something about what we plan to do. Actually, the whole procurement process, that the current as is procurement process is such that we send you RFQs over emails, or you get you get an auto-generated email from SAP requesting that we are looking for such and such things, so that you please do code and such date will be the last date to submit. So in that scenario, mapping it to the to be process, like when Ariba comes in and how it really how the things will go from then on, is that the procurement process of Ariba is basically divided into uh, three stages. So that's one someone so one is RFI, request for information, then it is request for proposal, then it's auction. So I'm giving you a very complex example where I do not know, me being K Electric, I do not know what I want and how do I get it. So I just know the end result. For example, I have to create a new building. I know the place. I know I need to get a building, but what it would be like? Will it be a complete concrete structure? Will it be a complete glass structure? I do not know. So for that, I'll call in an RFI, request for information, for all the consultants or the civil people who I know could code. They will send me responses. Some will say make a glass. Some will say that make a glass building. Some would say make a concrete building. Some would add you can you can choose to place solar panels on it. You can do whatever you want. You can make it self-sustainable. So so keeping all that aside, I select one proposal, and based on that I transform that RFI into an RFP. So here's the proposal, I like this one. Now the civil contractors come in and bid on my design. So when that happens, then I might call them in for an auction. The decision is with me. It's not that every case is going to go in auction. Auction will provide value to K Electric if the amounts involved are huge, probably $1,000, $100,000 to $200,000, things like that. And I think it should be applicable only, and it should be fruitful only if all vendors are offering the same thing. So if apple to apple comparison is a must if you want to go in auction, or the vendors aren't technically accepted. Like for example, in filters cases, um, so filter cases, I mean, we have allowed for brand for two different kind of filters. So both have different manufacturing and both have different R&D. So whatever filter can come to our price, or whichever filter is cheap, we do buy it because it's already previously technically accepted. So so Jawad, that's you're telling me what Engro does. So sometimes they go for variation after 1 minute. For example, they give their prices on top, and every minute, let's say 100 US is going to be increased. Then it would depend on vendor when they click. If someone click, let's say 5 minutes after, before anybody else, he had to be rewarded. Before anybody else, then order has to be rewarded to that vendor. They set duration time for 10 minutes. Jawad, discuss this with me offline, please. I will really need to hear what the Engro is doing. Um, so, are there any questions? Let me check my email. Um, I haven't received any email from now, so I'm guessing that all of your questions are answered probably, and you have understood all it. But there are a few things that I would like to answer, since we have been doing this session for the last 2 days now. So today's session 3. So we had different questions from different vendors. So I'm just sharing that with you. Um, there was one question that which says that can we propose delivery terms in case of early or late deliveries? Same question is for payment terms. So the same the trial case was shown to them. So they had the question, can we propose our own delivery terms? Like for example, we had asked for lead time as 50 days, for example. Okay, I need that material in 50 days. So vendors can propose their delivery times. Like, for example, some vendor can say, yes, I can meet your 50 days deadline provided you open the LC subject to opening of the LC, or I can meet your 50 days deadline provided you give me an order on such and such date. So always your counter proposal will be based on such and such on any milestone. So yes, you can write that. You can write that in your commercial, technical and commercial proposals, and we can always take that into account. It's not a big deal. Okay, so there's, I think, if there's one more question, I could just have a look at it. Um, okay. Can any vendor apply for any auction? No, you cannot apply for an auction. K Electric invites you to participate in an auction. K Electric may require you that K Electric may feel the need that auction needs to be done, or K Electric might not feel the need for auction. So it depends on K Electric. What if we have more commodities than mentioned by K Electric? So okay, so K Electric will qualify you for a certain commodity, for a certain commodity head, rather than that particular model, the high level commodity. And if you have some other quantity, that entirely depends upon us, that is K Electric. If we do require a vendor, you are most welcome. If we are already fully stocked in our vendor, we are fully sufficient in vendors base, so we would be saying no. Okay, if we are working in a category and KE qualify us automatically for that, but if we need to add categories, what will be the procedure? Okay, so we'll, okay, this is a good question. Okay, so how the thing goes is that K Electric, for people who are manufacturers, this happens especially in distribution department, and primarily in distribution department. So what they do is, if they are supplying anything or if they are rendering services, they are pre-qualified to render such and such service. For example, considering K Electric is a utility company, so K Electric installed different types of electric poles. So some are big towers, some are straight cylindrical towers, some are full lattice structures, and some are some maybe different kinds of poles are there. So each vendor is qualified for a certain pole or certain commodity based on the experience that he has, or the based on the pre-qualification criteria that we had set. So having said that, K Electric will open up an RFI process with you for you to qualify for that commodity. So let's say if you want, so I'll give you an example. So if you are providing me, let's say, air conditioners, and now you want to provide me with electric meters. So what I'll do is I'll basically send you a questionnaire for vendors, which is who wants to supply electric meters. So there would be questions. So we would open up an RFI document, RFI event with you, in which there will be some questions like, please submit a sample. Based on sample approval, you have to go for KEMA testing. You need to get your sample tested for such and such thing. The sample should be manufactured for such and such specs. So that after all that, then we would qualify you for that particular commodity. So what about GST? GST is always after the price. It is not included. You should not include it in prices that you are entering. Your prices should be exclusive of GST, but yeah, inclusive of withholding tax. So, and just write in your technical proposal or commercial proposal that the prices that been and have added are without GST or without VAT, value added tax, and it would but does include withholding tax if there is any. Um, Okay, how would you know that ARIBA will be that RFIs or RFPs are? How will the vendors be intimated? You will get an automated response. You can see in your dashboard as well. Um, so that's how these are two ways that you can get it. Is there any option to extract quote or response in PDF for our record? Yes, you can do that. Is there any limit to submit bid and auction by vendor? If not, every vendor will revise its bid till last minute. We have faced the same with such and such company. And okay, so until unless the session ends, vendor can add as many um, responses he wants. There was one thing that I need to, other than all of this, I need to advise you as well. Whenever you are requested to participate in an event, be it an RFI or be it an RFP, not the auction. I'm not talking about the auction. So if the time that you have been given is, let's say, the time that you have been given it's 10 days, and during this 10 days you submitted your quote within the first 5. So the rest of the 5 days you can change um, your bids if you so wish. The system does offer you, that does give you the option. If you think that you have made a mistake or something needs to be revised, some prices needs to be revised, or some technical uh, file needs to be updated, you can do so. But once the 10 days are over, you won't be able to change it. Neither we can help you change it, nor you can help us. You can change it yourself. One thing which is good here is basically when, let's say, the RFQ time was 10 days and you submitted in 5, and the rest of the 5 days you are waiting for them to pass so that the timeline could finish. We would know that someone has submitted a bid, submitted a response, but we wouldn't be knowing that how much it is. We cannot access it until the 10 days are over. So this is one thing which promotes transparency and traceability as well. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to take it. You can write it in your chat. You can send me an email. If not, then I'll I'll close the session officially. Um, if you can write anything, I'll just wait for a minute or two. Then I'll officially call off the session. All right, then. If there are no other questions, then I would officially like to close the session. Thank you all for participating. You've been a great audience. If you have any questions, I'll stop the recording now. If you have any questions, any at all, after this, you can drop me an email. I'll answer them. There's